Hey y'all, what's goody? Hey y'all, I'm back. It's been a while, I know, but I am back. Almost like I never left. So, we got to talk about some of the craziness. I'm trying to get my hair somewhat together. We got to talk about some of the craziness going on in this world. I mean, there's some good things. And I'm going to start with one of those good things. So, Elon was successful at saving, what was it, 3 astronauts who were stranded in space. It's something else to be stranded in outer space. And the reason these astronauts were stranded in outer space is because President Biden, before he left office, was playing darn politics. So they were supposed to go on a trip that was supposed to be 8 days. Y'all, they were there almost 10 months. It is outlandish. So because God blessed Elon with such super intelligence, he was able to go out and retrieve these astronauts, which, thank the Lord for that. That noise you hear in the background is Oreo, my Yorkie poo. Every time she knows when I'm starting filming because she starts making noise and she's playing with the toy. She knows I'm talking about her. She's looking at me. She's playing with the toy, growling at it and everything. And in a minute she's gonna start barking and I'm gonna have to put her out. Hey, what was that? That's my nieces in the next room. Okay, good. Be careful. Okay. Child, I swear. Anyway, y'all, let's go. I'm gonna get my headphones on because if I don't, then the videos start playing all crazy. So bear with me 1 second. Where is it? Okay. Somebody got to open this door so Oreo can get out of here. Can one of y'all open this door so Oreo can get out? Yeah, just
pause it. Wait,
I said, Lena,
can hear us?
Yes, I'm live, but that's okay. Oreo needs to be able to get in and out, baby. So y'all can't close that door all the way.
Oreo.
Oh. Go on with them. Dang. Okay, y'all, here I come. All right, so where is the video? Here is the video. Are we ready? Are we ready? Let me make sure. Okay, here we go.
Earlier today, SpaceX successfully completed its rescue of 2 astronauts who spent 9 months stranded in space. They were only supposed to be there 8 days. SpaceX founder, chief engineer, CEO Elon Musk, he now joins us for an exclusive interview. Elon, first of all, what a triumph to the human spirit, human ingenuity, engineering. First of all, on behalf of, I know, many people in this audience, thank you for what you did for those astronauts today. How were you feeling, throughout the day? I mean, I know I felt butterflies in my stomach, and I rarely feel them.
Well, I'm actually usually a little nervous about these returns because there's always some risk that something could go wrong. But thanks to the excellent work of the SpaceX team working with NASA, the astronauts are now safely home. And so congratulations to the SpaceX and NASA teams on excellent work, and a huge note of appreciation to President Trump for prioritizing and expediting their return.
You have been the chief engineer of SpaceX and remain the chief engineer of SpaceX. It is the first private company to ever make it to orbit. Walk us through the beginnings of that. It is not, it's something that nobody else has been able to accomplish.
Well, it's quite a long story, and there are some books that have been written about it. But in the beginning, we didn't actually know anything about rockets. So our first 3 missions failed, actually, of our Falcon 1 rocket. And we almost ran out of money.
Don't close it all the way.
And just barely made it with the 4th launch. If the 4th launch of Falcon 1 had not succeeded, we would have failed as a company. So we just barely made it. So I have to say that I was not a very good chief engineer in the beginning, but I did learn over time. And I think we've gotten, at this point, to where the vehicle is very reliable. And we are going to be able to take astronauts to Mars. In fact, we want to take anyone who goes to Mars and ultimately build a self-sustaining civilization on Mars. That is the long-term goal of the company. Make life multiplanetary.
I mean, that is a very bold vision. How long do you think that might take SpaceX to be able to accomplish?
I think we could do it in 20 to 30 years.
Mm-hmm. So really, in our lifetime,
I should say,
if God blesses me with a longer life than I deserve, right? I could always hope. I would love to be able to see that. That would be amazing. I happen to have a telescope, and I love to look at the stars in the sky and the planets, and I am amazed at the majesty of all of creation, and the idea that we even look at the moon and we can go there and come back, or a space station, or you launching the hundreds of satellites you have. I want to ask you this question, if I may, and it's, you know, every aspect of this rescue had challenges and danger. The launch, we start there. Then the rocket landing. I mean, we showed. I couldn't believe you were able to land the rocket that fell off perfectly where you wanted it to land. The docking video when they actually connected and got onto the space station. Then the taking off earlier today was a 17-hour trip, leading to the splashdown that all of America watched today. Every single aspect of that has danger and complications. Walk us through the dangers of each phase.
Well, on the ascent phase, there's always some chance that either the first or second stage will blow up. In fact, I find it's actually remarkable when you see a rocket. I mean, when I see the rocket, I see a list of all the things that are wrong, all of the ways that it could go wrong and potentially fail. So you could have a first stage failure, a second stage failure, a stage separation failure. The Dragon could fail to separate from the rocket. The trunk could fail to separate from Dragon. There could be a sort of an engine failure on the spacecraft itself. When it's coming back, it's coming in so fast, it's a blazing meteor. And if anything happens to the heat shield, the whole craft is going to disintegrate. It's remarkable that humans can actually go all the way to orbit and come back from orbit, given the immense amounts of energy that is required to get to orbit and the amount of energy that must be dissipated upon return. And then the parachutes have to open, that all has to work. Now, long term, we are going to be doing, not long term, this year, in fact, we're launching the Starship rocket, which I recommend maybe doing a piece on, because that is truly a revolutionary rocket. Starship is the first rocket that has the potential to make life multiplanetary, to make us a multi-planet civilization for the first time in the history of Earth.
Wow.
And that's truly profound.
Truly.
What was amazing, and I studied a lot of this because of my need to cover it, at one point going 17,000 miles per hour, going through 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. You have this thermal protection system. Now, we do know that the Boeing Starliner, you know, we know that it had problems. So these problems that you talk about, we can't take them for granted or get complacent. Explain how you get up to 17,000 miles per hour. How do you withstand 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit and the thermal protection system that protects that capsule? And then the launch, obviously, of the parachutes, which were critical to slow it down for its splashdown.
Yeah, perhaps we should do a longer segment because I'd be happy to explain it in detail. I'll do the 2-minute version here.
Yeah. Okay.
The Falcon 9 rocket takes off with 1.7 million pounds of thrust. So you can imagine something that has enough thrust to lift an office building off its foundations.
Wow.
And it gets to orbit. It gets to roughly 17,000 miles an hour in 9 minutes. So from 0 to 17,000 miles an hour in 9 minutes.
Unfathomable.
And then it's just when it comes back, you've got that heat shield that's got to dissipate that energy. Like I said, you're coming in like a blazing meteor, and hardly anything can survive that heat. And if the heat shield fails, you just get vaporized immediately. So it's we're really testing the very edge of human ability here, the very edge of material science, and it's kind of amazing that humans can do this at all. Hopefully for people out there, this is a moment of optimism about the future, a moment of excitement about the future, and it portends great things for America and humanity in space.
I'm only going to ask you one political question, just for clarification purposes only. I don't think this should really be a political night. I think this is,
Right.
A moment where the country should celebrate the fact that you were able to rescue them, that it happened successfully in spite of the difficulty, the challenges, and the danger. But I just want to clarify on the issue of whether or not you had offered to send this rocket to space to rescue these astronauts sooner to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I heard somebody earlier today say, in fact, that didn't happen when I believe it did.
No, we definitely offered to return the astronauts earlier. There's no question about that. The astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, and they've been there for almost 10 months.
My God.
So obviously that doesn't make any sense. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back after a few months at most, and we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons, and that's just a fact.
Yeah. I followed this from the very beginning. Did America and the world make a mistake by slowing?
That is a crying shame that because Elon, now the government has used his services for a long time, and for a lot of years, the liberal left, they loved Elon. But because he associated himself with Donald Trump, you mean to tell me that former President Joe Biden and former President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would not allow him to go and get these people because they were ticked off that Elon had aligned himself with Donald Trump? Everybody on that rocket ship that came back, because I heard it said that there was only one Republican person aboard that ship and everybody else were Democrats. I bet you those that were Democrat, I bet you they switched up. I bet you they may not be Republicans. They might have gone independent or claiming nothing. But I bet you they want nothing to do with the Democratic Party. Because see, that's the thing about the Democratic Party is they eat their own. They do not care. They are so Trump deranged and now Musk deranged that anybody who has a positive relationship, anybody having anything to do with President Trump and Elon Musk, they just go in attack mode against them because they hate Trump that much. And now they hate Elon that much. And I surely hope that Elon Musk does not waver in his convictions because some people on the planet don't like him. Don't worry about them. Because I tell you what, probably about half of the United States citizens, half of the American people at least, are grateful for what you did, Elon. As if he can, as if he's watching my little baby channel. But for real, not all of us feel that way. These people are gaining momentum in the media or whatever, these few little crazy people, just because they're a few crazy people. And the things that they're going around doing, like to his, trying to basically crash his business. They are crashing out, acting a fool, in other words, crashing out, to try to hurt Elon in the pocket. They are so hateful and jealous, and they're so mad because he is pulling the cover off their shadiness by, the work that Doge is doing, that they want to try to destroy him. It's just ridiculous. Let me see. I wish I had already broken up this video. I don't want to listen to the entire thing. There were certain parts though, but let's see. We're about 8 minutes in. Let me see.
Going down, going to the moon and to other planets, was that a mistake on our part? I mean, don't we have so many scientific and innovative breakthroughs every time we go?
Well, I think we'll have tremendous breakthroughs when we establish a city or a base and then a city on Mars, because we'll have to overcome so many challenges that it'll serve as a forcing function for the development of new technologies that will have tremendous benefits to people on Earth.
Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about the health issues that the astronauts will face. They only trained for an 8-day mission, but there are certainly things involved with returning to gravity, adjusting to gravity, nauseousness, but then it gets a little bit more serious, a variety of other health problems. Bones become about 1% less dense for every month that they are in space. That could lead to issues like osteoporosis or bone fracture, etc. Astronauts grow in space because the spinal column expands. There was one astronaut, Scott Kelly, he became 2 inches taller.
Wait a minute, what? You have got to be killing. You've got to be kidding me. That this is what these people endured, being left out there? I don't understand how there's anybody left that would align themselves with the Democrat Party. These people are wicked and hateful. Did y'all hear that? They suffer physical illnesses and alterations because of being left in outer space for so long. Let me take that back. Listen to this mess.
Adjusting to gravity, nauseousness, but then it gets a little bit more.
Tremendous benefits to people on Earth.
Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about the health issues that the astronauts will face. They only trained for an 8-day mission, but there are certainly things involved with returning to gravity, adjusting to gravity, nauseousness, but then it gets a little bit more serious, a variety of other health problems. Bones become about 1% less dense for every month that they are in space. That could lead to issues like osteoporosis or bone fracture, etc. Astronauts grow in space because the spinal column expands. There was one astronaut, Scott Kelly, he became 2 inches taller, and others then, when it contracts when you come back, then they have some back issues. They have vision issues because fluids in the eye shift upward to the head. You can explain baby feet if you want. They will have some significant health issues that they're going to be facing, but they'll be okay.
The normal amount of time that astronauts are supposed to be in 0G is about 3 months, and then really at the most about 6 months. That's sort of the normal rotation, and they were up there for almost 10 months. So that's really going beyond what is healthy or good. So it's a good thing that thanks to the support of President Trump, we hope to bring them back, because really things get just a lot worse if they stay in zero G for, past a year or more.
You know, what you were able to accomplish today really is just fascinates me. I'm interested in every aspect of it. I think it was pretty public that I bought one of your Teslas.
And before they leave that topic, I heard it said somewhere earlier that the reason why they're taking them off the ship, they're putting, if you notice, they're putting the astronauts directly onto like a gurney or a wheelchair type thing. You know why they're doing that? Because once you come back down into a gravity situation, having been in outer space for that long, do you know these people cannot walk? It's like they've been out there so long that they're going to have to go to rehab and learn how to walk again. They're not walking up there in that rocket, in that spaceship. Boy, I would sue the whole government. I would sue the whole government. Oh my gosh. That really makes me mad. That really makes me mad. That people would do, fellow human beings, fellow American citizens like that. That tells you everything you need to know about the Democratic Party. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm so outdone. I'm so outdone. Let's see. What else are they going to hit topic-wise? Let me see.
Don't like the way that people, and by the way, it's like the greatest car ever invented. It really is. And I'm not just saying that. It's self-driving. It's got 1,000 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. Let
me take it back. He's talking about a Tesla. So Sean Hannity has one.
It's a good thing that thanks to the support of President Trump, we're able to bring them back, because really things get just a lot worse if they stay in zero G for, past a year or more.
You know, what you were able to accomplish today really is just fascinates me. I'm interested in every aspect of it. I think it was pretty public that I bought one of your Teslas. I don't like the way that people, and by the way, it's like the greatest car ever invented. It really is, and I'm not just saying that. It's self-driving. It's got 1,000 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. It's
2 seconds.
Most American.
2 seconds.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Zero,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry, not 0 point. It goes in 0 to 60 in 2.0 seconds.
At that point, I think it would kill you basically if it went that fast.
It would kill. That's true.
But it's pretty fast. That's for sure. It's faster than any Ferrari, for example. Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, I watched it beat my Z06. I'm like, I thought that was the greatest muscle car. No, it's not. I watched the S-Plaid beat it. You're into robotics, AI. You are working with Neuralink so the blind can see and people with spinal cord injuries may one day walk. You help people in North Carolina. You help people in California when they have no communications. And I
had no idea he was doing all that. I had no idea. God has blessed this man with, I don't know if he realizes he's blessed by God. If he doesn't, I pray that someday he comes to know that. And I pray even more on his behalf, that he would come to a saving knowledge of God and of Christ. But God has blessed this man with so much intelligence and has made that available to humanity, directly to the American people. He's a good person to have on our side. While they're dogging him out and discriminating against him and making all kinds of, and I say they, I mean the Democratic politicians, talking about him being a South African. He's African American because, doggone it, he is an American citizen. And they're doing all these discriminatory practices and all this hateful stuff against him. and putting swastikas on his car, that just demonstrates what they are. Just always remember, whatever the Democrats are accusing Republicans of doing, accusing Donald Trump of doing, whatever they're accusing, they are telling on themselves, okay? They are telling you what they are. So they, that's what they do. Is they, what's the word? Project. They project all the time. So if they are painting swastikas on Teslas and Cybertrucks, it's because that's what's in their heart. Horrible, horrible, horrible. These people are mad. They are mad crazy.
Watch all of this, and I have to ask, why? Why do I see people like I woke up this morning and saw that Teslas were put ablaze in one of your dealerships in
And they're stupid because I've heard that, well, maybe it's just the Cybertrucks, I don't know, but there's cameras all around these cars. So hopefully these people will be caught. I think they need to be caught. They need to be arrested. They need to do time in jail, and not just under some simple vandalism, not just that. They need to be charged with domestic terrorism and taken off the streets because they're out of control. There should be no slap on the wrist. I know that the Trump administration's got a lot they're dealing with, but somebody needs to find out who the perpetrators are of all this vandalism and this domestic terrorism, lock their butts away, and then do an investigation to find out who is bankrolling them, because believe somebody is putting them up to this. I'm just outdone. Let's see what else Sean has to say.
Vegas. I've seen this happen all over the country. Bullets are being fired. Charging stations are put ablaze. Teslas are being put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring.
Not anymore.
And yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into the dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
You actually tweeted out, and I'll put it on the screen, the level of violence is insane. It is deeply wrong. Mm-hmm. Tesla just makes electric cars and has done nothing to deserve these evil attacks. You just rescued 2 astronauts that have been in space for 286 days. They were only supposed to be there 8. You helped the people in North Carolina, Tennessee, California. You have, I think, the most creative and innovative car on the market. You created Starlink for communications that's used by hundreds of countries. You're working on helping the blind see and all of these other things. Is it really come down to the basic, you're aligned with President Donald Trump, who also is a friend of mine, and that you have identified well over $100 billion of waste, fraud, abuse that our federal government never should have been spending? Is that what it comes down to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out...
I mean, we'll get his statement in a second, but it comes down to the fact that, number one, these people are so afraid they are about to be found out. When they are found out, when all these investigations are completed and it is determined who took what, whoever those folks are, need to be prosecuted to the highest possibility that they can be. for that theft. Lock them all up. I don't care who they are and what positions or titles they hold. I don't care if some of them are even Republicans. Lock their behinds away and throw away the key. That's high treason as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I digress.
When you take away people's, what the money they're receiving fraudulently, they get very upset, and they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud.
Yeah.
And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And well, I guess they're bad people. Bad people will do bad things.
Mm.
Well, I know that overall, financially, in the end, yes, they can hurt you, but the people that they'll end up hurting are the people that work in your dealerships that may risk losing their job. The people that they may end up hurting.
And that's the thing. They don't care about that. They say they're for the common man, the working man, blah, 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 blah. But, they don't care if some people lose their jobs behind it. And this is exactly what's going to destroy the Democratic Party. They have nothing to run on. They have nothing positive to offer to the American people in contrast with what the Trump administration is doing. Their sole purpose, their sole strategy is counteract whatever Trump is doing. Counteract whatever people associated with Trump are doing. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's a type of situation or a policy that normally we would support, we're going to come out against it because the Trump administration is doing it or because Elon is doing it. Because mind you, when Bill Clinton was president, he also slashed hundreds of thousands of government jobs. Over 300,000, okay? He did not get any of this flack. Well, people were not as venomous then as they are now. And certainly the Democratic Party under Bill Clinton was different from this one that's been infested with the woke mind virus. But yeah, he slashed government waste as well. Obama talked about slashing government waste. Bill Clinton was the last president we had to balance the budget. The budget has not been balanced ever since. Okay? These people will stop at nothing to remain in power and to come out against anyone. That's why I'm so happy to see their demise. They have like a 21% approval rating. Even their own people are basically stepping back, going, wait a minute now, y'all doing a bit much. You're doing a bit much, and I can't be associated with you from here on out. They're losing supporters. They're just hemorrhaging supporters.
Are the people that work on the line and build the Teslas. They're going to be the ones hurt. And that to me is despicable on their part, just because they might have a political difference or perceived political difference. Let me ask you this, because I think this is pretty important. The average American makes $66,000 a year. Wow. We're close to $40,000 in debt. You said to me in our last interview, we won't have a country unless we fix it now. Can you explain why this is so important that we identify all this waste?
Yes, the government the government waste and fraud is so high that it's causing a $2 trillion annual deficit. So that's $2,000 billion of waste and fraud that's happening. And the cost of our debt has gotten so high that just the interest payments on the debt exceed the entire military budget. And it was just growing out of control. So the country was going bankrupt. It's just, country is no different from a person. If a country overspends and doesn't spend wisely, just like a person, the country will go bankrupt. So the reason I'm here is because...
Point blank. So I'm grateful for what Elon and what Doge are doing, and I'm grateful that President Trump is back in the White House. Thank the Lord. Maybe God has granted us reprieve. Let's check out another story, you guys. Let me see. I want to go here. Okay, where is that at? Okay, so I wanted to finish watching this with you all. This story is absolutely bonkers. Okay? I had to stop watching it because I was at work and I was getting emotional. So
trapped inside this home for 20.
A house caught on fire. I can't even remember what state. They're going to tell us. Okay? A house caught on fire. And thank God it caught on fire because it revealed a crime that a 20-year-old crime, basically. Okay? This lady is nuts. So somehow this lady managed, I'm trying to fix my shirt. Everything is off and crazy looking. Somehow this lady managed to hold her stepson captive for 20 years. The man is now 32 years old. So apparently since he was 10 years old then, she has held him captive. Y'all, this story is pitiful. Listen to this.
Who else is in the house? Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here.
She might be acting like she allegedly cares in the slightest about her stepson in this body cam video. But this woman is accused of a crime that not even veteran law enforcement can comprehend.
33 years of law enforcement. This is the worst treatment of humanity that I've ever witnessed.
She allegedly kept her stepson trapped inside this home for 20 years. When rescued, he weighed just under 70 pounds and was 32 years old.
Did y'all hear that? He's not even 70 pounds and he's 32 years old.
Now she is under arrest, and there are major questions about the failures that would allow this to happen. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. It is hard to come to grips with what police say happened inside this home. You see this picture here. This is in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Connecticut, okay.
Firefighters responded to a call here for a fire on February 17th. Inside that house, they found much more than just flames and smoke. They say they found a terrifying story of abuse and neglect, and they say this woman is allegedly responsible. This is Kimberly Sullivan. Here she is in custody. Police say that she held her stepson captive for 2 decades inside that home.
Crazy as heck.
Police say the man was kept in his room for 22 to 24 hours a day. Before I get into any more of the disturbing details of what allegedly happened in this home, let me lay out the timeline of the night that authorities responded to this fire. Let's begin with the 911 call that we just received.
Oh my God. 2 Blake Street.
What's the address?
Please hurry. It's 2 Blake Street. There's a fire.
Okay.
Oh my God. There's a fire. I'm trying.
Ma'am, what's
2
on
Blake
fire?
Street. The TV. I don't know. My son. He was stepped on in his room, and I don't know. He did something with the TV. I was sleeping. I fell asleep.
See flames or smoke?
Yes. Come on, Steph. Come on.
Okay. Can you get?
Yes. We need an ambulance, please.
Okay.
Please. We need an ambulance.
Ma'am, all right. You said something's on fire, and now you need an ambulance. What's going on there?
Yes. His room. The TV in his room.
Did he get injured? Is he on fire?
Yes, he's injured. Please send the ambulance.
Ma'am, I'm going to send the ambulance. I need to know what's going on and why they're going out there. Where is he injured?
I don't know. He's kind of, I don't know. He's kind of passed out. He's out of it. Please.
Okay, what's your phone number just in case we need to give you a call back?
Please.
Okay, is the fire out, ma'am?
No, it's not. Please.
She already answered it.
I understand, ma'am. I'm trying to get information on what's going on there.
Oh my God, it's like all the power in the house is out. I don't know if it blew a fuse. I don't know.
Okay, ma'am, just get out of the house, okay?
Yes, I'm going to call my daughter.
All right.
Oh my God.
Here's the newly released body cam video of what authorities found when they arrived.
There's snow and ice on the ground.
Come over here. Go down the road. Come on. Come down. Come down.
Come on, down.
Who else is in the house? Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here.
How many
I'm trying to have
other
him help
people?
them out.
Listen,
That's it. I have 2 cats.
Everybody's out?
Yes.
But your stepson's still inside?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay,
yes.
come out. Come down the road. Come on. Come on. It's not safe to stay here. Come on.
All right, here he is. All right, my dog is shaking.
I know. Come down here. That's true. 87.33 victim.
Good helpful.
Fire victim.
Okay.
Come on.
My
80
dog
seconds
is,
right here.
I
Come
know
on.
my dog.
I know. Come on.
I'm coming.
You're seeing it. That one victim right here.
Does he have him?
I need to see over here.
Lord have mercy. He's got him. Oh, okay. They've got him.
What you just saw there at
Jesus.
the end of the video was the victim, the stepson, being taken to the hospital. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, a Waterbury police officer described the stepson, known as male victim 1, or as we will call him, MV1, as emaciated. His hair matted and unkempt, was very dirty, and his teeth all appear to be rotten.
Wow.
Days later, in the hospital, MV1 would speak with police officers and give details of what he says life was like over the last 20 years. Before I go into the details of that, here's what the Waterbury police chief said about
Y'all, I'm not gonna kid. This might be very emotional for me. Like I said, I had to stop watching it. I was watching it like on my break at work, and I had to turn it off. So, excuse me. I mean, I'll apologize ahead of time.
about what you're about to hear. This video is from the news conference courtesy of WVIT TV in Connecticut.
Because frankly, what was being reported was unfathomable to us at that point in time. Through those investigative meetings and through search warrants, we were able to seize physical evidence and conduct interviews and dig up some more information that corroborated the victim's story.
This is the Law and Crime Legal Alert. Did you know that children are being diagnosed with serious conditions like type 2 diabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? And research is potentially linking ultra-processed foods to these outcomes. Our partners at Morgan & Morgan are stepping in to fight to hold food companies accountable. They have decades of experience of standing up to big corporations, and they are ready to stand up and fight for families and make sure that they get justice. So if your child under 21 has been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or fatty liver disease, visit forthepeople.com/food, or you can scan the QR code on your screen to learn more. According to the affidavit, the male victim told police he was pulled out of public school in 2004 when he would have been around 12 years old. When asked about his earliest memories, MV1 said he would sneak out of his room at night to eat and drink, and when it was discovered that he was doing that, he was locked in his room. He recalled drinking from a toilet because he was only getting 2 cups of water a day. MV1 detailed a life being allegedly held captive in this home by Kimberly Sullivan, who allegedly locked him in his room and would only let him out to do chores. Anytime he would be let out and be around someone, he wouldn't speak about what his life was like inside the home out of fear of being locked down even longer. Police say MV1's dad lived in the house until he died in January 2024 and he was confined to a wheelchair. Then MV1's captivity got allegedly more restrictive. MV1 said that he would have to go to the bathroom in a bottle and on newspaper. There are so many horrifying details in the arrest affidavit that we read through. But this part in particular stood out to me when you try to comprehend what this man says his life was like for 2 decades. MV1 says that he was occasionally allowed to watch TV on the weekends. And once he had a black and white TV in his room, but then that stopped working. He said he would listen to University of Connecticut basketball and NASCAR on the radio near his door to be able to keep track of what year it was. He said he wasn't allowed to have friends, and the only time he was ever allowed to have fun was Halloween. The last time he was allowed to go trick-or-treating, according to CNN, was when he was 12 years old, and his last costume was a firefighter. And that leads us to the fire that allegedly set him free. MV1 says he set the flames himself. He says that he used a lighter that he had taken from his now...
So he started the fire. Thank God, because there's no telling how much longer he would have been kept in that situation. That was so smart of him. Risky, but smart.
Deceased father a year prior, and he used printer paper and hand sanitizer. He told police that he read that hand sanitizer was flammable. MV1 allegedly told Sullivan the fire started because his radio malfunctioned, and then she let him out of his room, but she also demanded that he wash his face before he escaped out of fear that firefighters might notice his appearance. Then the final line of that paragraph hit me in the chest when I read it. It states that MV1 said he laid on the floor with the fire in the house as smoke was going through the home, knowing that firefighters would be forced to get him, believing it was the only way out of his situation. Then he was taken to the hospital where he is now recovering and then had the conversation with police. According to the affidavit, MV1 stood at 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighed 68.9 pounds. He told detectives that he started the fire because, quote, I wanted my freedom. He did suffer smoke inhalation during the fire. He's considered to be in stable condition and is recovering at the hospital. While he's recovering, there are certainly a lot of questions about how this was allegedly able to happen and for so long. Waterbury police say the Department of Children and Families made 2 trips to MV1's house in 2004 after he was pulled out of school because there were concerns from the children and teachers at the school that something was going on. The Waterbury police chief said this about those visits in that news conference, this video from WVIT.
We're doing some background investigation. There are 2 incidents that we had within our computer system of dealing with that address and with the family back in 2005. One was a request from DCF to do a welfare check at the location because children that the victim was familiar with hadn't seen him and they were concerned about him. Officers went to the house. The house was clean. It was lived in. They spoke to the victim at that point in time, and there were no cause for any alarm or any conditions that existed that would have led officers to believe anything other than a normal childhood and a normal family existence was occurring.
My question is, what the heck is wrong with his dad? That his dad, okay, so this lady is his stepmom, but also in the house was his dad until January 2024. So what the heck was going on in his head that he allowed this?
That was reported back to DCF, and that was the last that we were involved in that particular investigation. We were called back to the house in the latter part of April by the family who wanted to file a harassment complaint against members of the school district, saying that they were continuously reporting them to DCF and felt that they were trying to get the family in trouble and have the family investigated. We have no further information about where that went other than there was no proof provided by the family that there was any type of harassment that was occurring. You know, as far as the school district's concerned, we are looking at those records now. We're working with DCF to look at records that they may have.
DCF, they're just notorious for dropping the ball. Notorious for dropping the ball. They always stop too soon. My goodness gracious.
From previous investigations, and that's part of the ongoing investigation.
DCF told WTNH in Connecticut that they have no records related to MV1 and his family. They said that in that state, records are expunged 5 years after reports of neglect or abuse are considered unsubstantiated. Now, you may also be wondering, what about other members of this family, about other people who are related to MV1? The New York
Because I heard he had siblings.
Post spoke to the man's biological mom. The woman lives in Meriden, Connecticut, which is about 20 minutes from Waterbury, where her son was allegedly being held captive. She told the Post from outside her house, quote, "We are all trying to come to grips with this horror that my son had to endure." And, quote, "He has family who love him so much and has never been forgotten about."
Well, where in the hell were y'all at? Where were y'all at? Oh my gosh, all these folks are crazy.
The Post says the woman would not answer questions about why she didn't allegedly rescue her son from this abuse. As for the stepmom, here's Kimberly Sullivan appearing in court. She is now charged with assault in the first degree, kidnapping in the second degree, unlawful restraint in the first degree, cruelty to persons, and reckless endangerment in the first degree. Here is what her attorney said outside of court, this per CT Insider.
Absolutely. Yeah, so she completely maintains her innocence. From our perspective, these allegations are not true. They are outlandish. I mean, she was blown away when she heard these allegations.
Man, please.
She's adamant they are not true. This did not happen. And we look forward to being able to vindicate her and show that she's done nothing wrong.
Can you speak on, what your stance is, what she... I guess you say she's innocent. Can you just kind of explain on that?
She's never locked him in a room. That is absolutely not true. He was not locked in a room. She did not restrain him in any way. She provided food. She provided shelter. She is blown away by these allegations.
How come she's not blown away that he doesn't even weigh 70 pounds and he's a grown man? If she's not guilty, she would have got him help for that. Yeah, right.
It is shocking, and what's more shocking to me is someone can be falsely accused of such a thing.
Okay.
And you mentioned her husband passing away recently.
Correct.
Potentially someone who was...
The biological father? Well, I mean, he was the biological father. He's the one that dictated how his son would be raised. We think as the evidence comes out, you will see that she's not the villain she's being made out to be.
Yeah,
Absolutely
right.
not.
You mentioned that the allegations were being corroborated. I mean, how are the allegations being corroborated?
Well, the allegations seem to be based on the words of one individual and one individual.
Based on the words of the victim himself. What are y'all talking about? This man didn't even weigh 70 pounds. If she cared about him, like what? What are they gonna say? He was anorexic, that's why he only weighed 70 pounds? What?
Individual alone. I did not see anything in the warrant to indicate any independent evidence to corroborate these allegations. So we'll see how they stand up at trial. I do anticipate a trial in this case, given the shocking nature of the allegations. She's adamant. She's done nothing wrong.
Oh,
Where's the boy now? Where's the
he ain't no boy. He's a grown man.
I don't know. But my understanding, he's based on my review of the warrant. There was no other person to corroborate any of the claims that were made. And
anybody that would represent this woman, you're slime. So he's a slime ball. Let's see what else.
At the appropriate time, we'll get into the motivations and the credibility of any witness.
Sullivan was held on $300,000 bail And she was able to post that. So she is free right now as this case continues and her stepson recovers in the hospital. Her next court date is reportedly March 26th. The city of Waterbury and the community are now trying to help this stepson as he recovers in the hospital and faces a long path ahead when it
Where are the siblings?
comes to recovering from what allegedly took place. This is a GoFundMe page that the police department linked to on its Facebook page. It's being run by a nonprofit called Safe Haven of Greater Waterbury, and at the time of this recording, it has raised more than $90,000. Talk more now about a really difficult story is Marian Bracha, practice professor of law at Temple University and a former prosecutor. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know you in your career, you've worked some really difficult cases. What reaction did you have when you first learned about what police say happened inside this home for 20 years?
Well, first reaction is it sounds like a house of horrors. It sounds like something out of a horror film. It sounds like something out of a Stephen King novel. It's almost something that doesn't seem real. But then when you hear the physical condition that the survivor was in, that the male victim was in, you know that it is all too real, and there is actually physical evidence of what he endured for all that time.
How common are, I know this, and we've heard from law enforcement that have said, the chief said in 33 years of his career, he's never seen something like this. But when you have...
No way that monster is out on the street. Why would they allow her opportunity to pay bail? I mean, why?
Have cases where there is someone who's...
Wait a minute. And she has the nerve to have a cross. Do y'all see this mess? How dare you?
3 years of his career, he's never seen something like this. But when you have cases where there is someone who's being held...
She gonna bust hell wide open. If she stays as she is, she's gonna bust hell wide open. That's just
captive in a home. How common are these types of cases?
I can't say that a case like this comes down the pike every day. I can't say that this is a very common fact pattern that presents itself to prosecutors for consideration. There have been instances where I've seen and reviewed materials for captive-like cases like this in the past, but again, they're few and far between. And the thing to remember with any case involving a dependent person or with a vulnerable victim is that these crimes go on behind closed doors, in the dark, outside of public viewing. These are not what we call quote unquote street crimes that can be captured by surveillance or poll cameras or a police car that's driving by that happens upon a crime scene. These are things that happen really in the dark and are not often discovered by investigators or by the people who are best suited to help.
Police say that he was pulled out of school, public school, in 2004. And then he was, I guess, considered to be homeschooled at the time, and he just fell through the cracks along the way. How can we track somebody who is pulled out of school, but then it appears that there's no record whatsoever? I know DCF went to the house twice and then said that at the time nothing seemed to be wrong, but how does someone fall through the cracks like this?
I think the only phrase to use there is administrative failure. Children, and especially dependent children who are being homeschooled, children who are suspected of enduring abuse should not be able to fall through the cracks or have their cases closed by a cursory review. How does that happen? It happens with overburdened systems. It happens with overworked social workers and caseworkers. It happens when, quite frankly, there isn't the systemic...
She is a crazy nut. So I don't know if they ever found out, and I don't want to watch this entire video. This is just depressing. I don't know if it was ever found out, or if any other relatives ever came forward to corroborate his story. It's a shame that his mother lived 20 miles away and she did nothing to try to rescue her son. What was her deal? I mean, is she on drugs or is she a drunk or something? There's no telling what the scenario is, but I just this just sickens me. Let me go back to the other crazy people, the politicians. They're crazy on a different level. Let's see. Now, so I was talking earlier about how Democrats eat their own, because that's just how crazy they are. Watch this. So this video is by Black Conservative Perspective, and I always watch his videos and crack up because he will just lose it sometimes and just laugh at how ridiculous stuff is. But he has a video here where a Democrat influencer, feminists turn on this influencer. Wait, let's see what this is about, y'all. Hold the line. Look at this.
Shall we? So before I get into these around 50 screenshots providing evidence and context for anything that I have said, I do want to reiterate something just for even more context. I met Harry in summer of 2020. We were both kind of like the original political TikTokers, and we were on the Dem High Pass, which was a huge political TikTok account. Our relationship has always been friend-based. However, when I did go to Jersey to visit my aunt, he has a summer house there, so we did hook up a couple times. So it was kind of like friends with benefits, but it was kind of established that if we saw each other in person, we'd probably hook up. But our conversations outside of seeing each other in person or whatever were never really like flirty or anything like that. So I was never under any sort of impression that we were exclusive ever.
I've been trying to figure out how I want to word a video regarding this, but I think what I'm going to just say is I've never been the woman that has called out behavior like this. I've never been
Put your clothes on.
One of these people, and if you have been, props to you, because I don't think anybody could comprehend how genuinely terrifying it is to do something like this. Yeah. I really, send me how you stop having fucking palpitations.
I got played by a TikTok influencer for 9 months, and I think it's time that I expose his trashy ass behavior. We started talking in May of last year, right before my birthday, and he like wooed me. He was very kind. I felt really excited and thankful that I found somebody who, at the time, I thought respected me for more than my physical appearance.
Live, don't read on live. Yeah, I saw about this. Like actually lunatics. Like genuinely, they are. This individual in question is insane.
Wait, who is that?
And so, I'll send. Yeah, I can share with Chris. I'll send a screenshot. Yeah, no, like legitimately, Chris and I have been talking about this for days now.
Uh-oh.
This individual
Wait,
is
who?
fucking crazy.
Wait,
bro.
what?
If you want to support the live,
bro, that bro.
Images. I'm saying, dude. I am saying.
What's happening?
No, you be good out there, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You be safe.
That's what. That's also. What
He
I'm
said.
saying,
That's what he
Grego.
said. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about a story that is going viral
That
online.
kid.
A story that I thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to talk about it, but I think I do want to talk about it because I think a lot of this story that we're about to talk about here is BS. Okay, but not for the reasons that most people think that this story may be BS. I think that this is a full-blown Democrat Party psyop involving Harry Sisson, okay, who's currently being canceled for having a roster of 11 women, aka he's being canceled because as a so-called male feminist, okay, at least according to the story, he is a playboy, okay? He has a roster and rotation of 11 women, okay? He's went full-blown Andrew Tate, okay? And now he's been exposed as quote-unquote straight, right? Because there's speculation that Harry Sisson, who is a Democrat Party influencer a Gen Z male influencer is gay, right? There's speculation. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying that he is. That's just what the rumors are, right? That he's not straight. So there you have this story coming out where all of a sudden he has these women who are coming out of the closet and telling their story about how toxically masculine Harry Sisson is and how he's such a playboy, right? And again, I want to talk about this because I smell BS. I think that this is propaganda, okay? I think that this is a psyop. So without further ado, I want to play a summary clip here from The Hill to give you guys a general idea of some of the and then go from there. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Democratic influencer Harry Sisson is feeling the heat on social media, but is it warranted? I actually say no. We'll get to that. Republican state delegate and precinct chair Sarah Fields has written a thread on social media about Sisson that went very viral yesterday. In it, she discusses Sisson being accused of luring 11 women into sending him explicit photos and lying to them by saying he had no roster, I guess, of attractive women he was talking to. Fields alleges that one of these women was a domestic abuse survivor, although, again, what the relevance of that is anyone's guess. Fields writes, a request to the reader set political differences to the side. I believe both sides of the aisle can agree that this is unacceptable behavior from a man-child with collectively over 2 million followers.
Fields gathered footage of some of the women speaking out and summarized their sentiments.
In one instance, a woman named Carly said that Harry wooed her from the very beginning and conceded to sharing explicit photos with him. After 6 months, Carly says Harry called it off. Carly said Sisson should have made his intentions more clear since he allegedly told her she was wifey material and that he was sold on her wifey application. Carly also says she was dealing with depression after a traumatic car accident and that Harry allegedly pounced and took advantage of her sadness. Carly said, I'm fighting for accountability, not only for myself, but on behalf of everyone who believed this guy was someone he's not. Fields also mentions a woman named Sarah. Sisson allegedly told Sarah she was the only one he was talking to. Per Fields, Sarah allegedly shared explicit photos of herself as well. Other women came forward sharing similar stories.
Harry Sisson out here trying to be a player. That's the big mouth that will go on podcast shows or whatever, and trying to stand toe-to-toe with grown men, talking a bunch of smack, speaking, of course, in support of the Democratic Party. That's his side. And so now it's coming out that he's a womanizer.
One woman named Hannah said she knew Sisson since they were young and that he is allegedly predatory and manipulative. It's just rumor mongering at this point. Go ahead, Marianne.
Fields ended her thread by writing, I do not condone the behavior of these women, but I do know what it feels like to be manipulated by a narcissist when I was younger.
Plenty of reactions on social media. Podcaster Josie Glabeck, known as the redheaded libertarian, wrote on X, wait, you're telling me that Harry Sisson is a textbook male feminist who preys on vulnerable women? No way. Media company Being Libertarian wrote on X, Harry Sisson is a bad person, but this isn't a scandal. It's the culmination of what every parent should be warning girls when they get a cell phone, don't talk to liberals. So, as you could probably tell by my editorializing as I was reading, I saw this brewing on social media and suggested we talk about it. Harry Sisson is as far from me in terms of ideology or activist behavior as one could possibly be, but I like to defend people even when I don't agree.
Well, if they're canceling him, his career is over, so I don't see how is it a psyop possibly?
Agree with them if I think they're being unfairly smeared. And these accusations are complete shit, and it is laughable to me that he talked to a couple different women, and he told that you're the one, but he was talking to some other. Wow, alert the media.
It never happened.
That's a crime. Burn him at the stake. Get the pitchforks and lighter fluid. It is insane that people thought this was a story. It is the biggest controversy of all time.
But then
Yeah, see, now you heard that. Okay, Harry Sisson, apparently Andrew Tate Jr. here, right? Democrat influencer, a liberal Gen Z influencer, Andrew Tate Jr. He's manipulative. Okay, he's predatory. right? He's playing these women. He got them in their rotation. He's lying to them, being deceptive, okay, kicking all type of game, right? Like that's the narrative that is coming out of this story. Almost as if this is what Harry wanted, right? Which I personally believe, and that's why I think that all of this is a psyop. So I'm going to explain exactly what I mean and what I'm talking about here in this video, in which I'm going to react to Jack Mack, who's going to cover this story and go from there. So without further ado, let's get into it.
What may be the upset of 2025, the internet's favorite Democrat, Harry Sisson, is being canceled for having a roster of women and not telling any of them. And although this may be Harry's first true controversy among his fellow beloved leftists, the entire internet does now have to acknowledge that this man has some game. So recently, Harry has been posting with this girl. Fully appears that Harry's in a relationship, shaking his head at the haters, I would assume. But yeah, seems like he's in love.
Yeah, so this right here, this video right here is what made my spider senses tingle on this story, right? Because this video came out just a little bit before these accusations came out, right? Of Harry having this rotation of women, okay? The dude has a harem, apparently, okay? This is the narrative being pushed out here.
Married,
okay, so this dude is basically dropping Snapchats or TikToks of him with some mystery girl, okay, in his lap. He says, God, that ass is fat.
Oh, God.
It's almost as if this dude is trying to prove that he's straight, right? That's kind of what it feels like to me, right? This almost feels forced, okay? This reminds me of the play from Shannon Sharpe, right? I told you guys, I didn't do a whole video about this, but I mentioned this in another video I did about Shannon Sharpe. I think it was a video that he did when he was interviewing Kamala Harris. I said, Shannon Sharpe, this is the same guy that has similar allegations that, hey, he might not be straight and that he might be gay because of the way that he carries himself, okay? I mean, Shannon Sharpe, he got a little sass to him, right? And he went live on Instagram and he was having sex live on Instagram.
What?
Now, he wasn't actually in the live, right? But you could hear the moans and the sounds. And then he comes out and say, oh, well, that was on accident, right? Somebody hacked my Instagram and went live as I'm clapping cheeks, right? That just happened on accident. I'm like, no, that didn't happen on accident. You did that on purpose. That was 100% staged. Why was it staged? It was staged to beat the accusations that Shannon Sharpe might be gay, right? So I've seen this play before, right? This is the old.
So that's what this is. Oh my gosh, who cares? But the kid is a big mouth, and so I'm glad he's catching some negative publicity. But yeah, he's trying to let the world see that I'm not gay. I like girls. Look, I'm out here being a player. Right. Get out of town. Okay. So much for that. Let's see what else. Have y'all ever seen that clip of Donald Trump way back when he was on Will Smith's show, The Fresh Prince, where something had happened and not Ashley, the other sister, was screaming and yelling. I wish I can find it real quick. Screaming at him for something and saying, thanks for ruining my life. And then the lady that was with Trump was like, what did you do? And the young Donald Trump was like, I don't know. People are always blaming me for everything. Y'all ever seen that? Well, anyway, the Democrats blame him for everything. Let's check this out. So, this is the Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels. And he has Jasmine Crash Out Crockett on his show. And apparently she made a statement basically blaming Trump for the fact that the Democrats have this low approval rating these days. Their approval rating is like in the low 20s somewhere, the last I heard. Let's check this out.
As often as I can, at least every other show, or at the very least, preferably once a show. Last week we talked about AOC, especially with regard to Chuck Schumer. And you know Jasmine Crockett is not going to miss an opportunity to get her big head in there. So, Jasmine Crockett recently went on CNN to talk about the plummeting. And when I say plummeting, I mean plummeting. According to multiple different polls, including a CNN poll that said that the approval rating of Democrats is in the toilet. Absolutely in the toilet. This is Jasmine Crockett on State of the Union on CNN talking about the plummeting popularity of Democrats. Check it out.
No plan, no strategy, no message. That's a quote. That's how a Democratic lawmaker was describing the Democratic Senate vote with Republicans this weekend to fund the government with a Republican funding bill, averting a government shutdown, but there was virtually no fight and nothing achieved for Democratic priorities. This comes as our brand new CNN poll this morning shows that the Democratic Party's favorability is at an all-time low in this CNN poll. It's just...
I heard it was at 21% personally. I heard that outside polls. I'm hearing that the CNN poll is actually skewed, and they skewed it up to try to create more of a favorable perception of Democrats. The word is that it's actually closer to 20 to 21%.
That's what I heard.
But that's just me. We're going to go based off of what they got to say. Either way, even at 29%, it's at a historic low. Again, I'm hearing that it's at 20 to 21%, but that's just my personal research.
29% approval. That's a 20-point drop since 2021. Joining us now is a Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you squeezing us in before you go to church. This has been a rough 72 hours for Democrats. I want to play some of...
She goes to church. I think I vaguely remember someone saying that her father is a minister or pastor or something. I hope she going to the altar.
Of what Democratic Senate Leader Schumer told me on The Lead on Friday about his decision to vote with the Republicans to fund the government. Take a listen.
A government shutdown gives Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge almost complete power as to what to close down because they can decide what is an essential service. If they determine that SNAP, kids shouldn't get food, is not essential, they can just cut it out summarily. They could fire half the workers in the federal government. It would have been a far worse consequence.
So he's saying that the path that House Democrats wanted would have presented a worse consequence. Is he wrong?
He's absolutely wrong. I mean, look at the reality of the votes, right? I understand that the American people are frustrated. Please believe many of us did not sleep because we were calling and trying to impress upon the senators the importance of pushing back in this moment. And as you saw, we had all but one Democrat in the House that voted for this. So that's 212 Democrats in the House. And then you had the vast majority of senators vote for it or vote against it as well. And so the idea that Chuck Schumer is the only one that's got a brain in the room and the only one that can think through all of the pros and cons is absolutely ridiculous. And Jake, you and I both know that this administration could care less about whether or not they violate the law.
Wait. Maybe I'm a little off. Maybe I'm missing something. So she's saying that he's wrong because everybody else believes that he's wrong, or he's wrong because it's not actually an accurate statement to say that a government shutdown would then enable the Trump administration, had it been a shutdown and Schumer had not approved it and worked with the Trump administration, that it would give them more power to be able to shut down other things that's within the government and exact or expedite the Doge agenda to make sure that we root out fraud, waste, and abuse. Either way, we win. That was my perspective. Either way, we win.
Either way.
Is Chuck Schumer wrong because of shame, guilt, and insults, or is Chuck Schumer wrong because Chuck Schumer doesn't understand policy and the power that would happen with the federal government through the Trump administration? Because she didn't substantiate her argument. Maybe she's going to substantiate her argument, and purpose is everything. Actually, it's not based off of popular opinion. Maybe I'm off.
Law. We know that we've had to rely heavily upon the courts. And I want to say, as you're talking about the polling on my party, I want to say that it is the Democratic attorney generals and some governors that are standing up against this administration and bringing those lawsuits and winning every single time. They are losing in court. Could we do a better job of making sure that the American people know that we are winning in the courts? We probably could. But at the end of the day, it's still Democrats that are winning for the American people.
Some progressive groups are calling for new leadership in the Senate for Democrats. Even House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, your leader, he was asked if he supports Schumer as leader of the Senate Democrats, and he said, next question. Do you think Senate Democrats should replace Chuck Schumer?
I think Senate Democrats have to sit down and take a look and decide whether or not Chuck Schumer is the one to lead in this moment.
You're close with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Some of your fellow House Democrats say, and not just progressives, by the way, we've heard that moderates have said this too, that they're ready to support her to challenge Chuck Schumer in a Democratic primary. Would you get behind that?
That's 4 years from now. If you were asking me at least in 2 years, then I would have an absolute answer. But I can tell you that
she's playing politics and party politics as usual, just like everybody else. Jasmine Crockett obviously would probably support AOC because she feels as though AOC is going to be at the forefront of the Democratic movement and Chuck Schumer is aging out. And instead of her actually being honest about what she thinks like Trump would be, like every other Republican is just being transparent in what it is that they stand and where they stand, she's playing party politics, which is the thing that the American people don't care for, and she don't want to say exactly what's in her thoughts. And so she's trying to make sure that she stays in good favor with the people that are in office while at the same time maintaining a relationship with AOC. And that's the reason why she answered the way that she answered. Let's just be real.
there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment. We don't even know what elections will look like in 4 years, if we will have elections. And so I definitely think
she's such a dingbat. She's a dingbat. If we'll even have elections.
that younger, fresher leadership may be something that many of us, not just depending on what part of the spectrum you're on, but many Americans may be looking for, especially in the state of New York.
How to take on the Republicans is a big topic of discussion among Democrats. Last week, you were one of those who participated in a Choose Your Fighter video. It got some...
That was so corny.
How can y'all take this serious, bruh?
Corny.
Yo, I could never be a part of the Democratic Party.
Never.
Imagine being a Congress member and they come up to you and say, yo, Anton, everybody doing it. This is the new trend. We got this person that's on TikTok. They got a bunch of followers. They created this Choose Your Fighter campaign. Oh, yeah, what's the Choose Your Fighter campaign? You got to jump up like a Mortal Kombat character or a Street Fighter character, and you just got to kind of move around like a and they're going to go with a Choose Your Fighter campaign. Look how dumb this looks. Look at this.
Real dumb.
Participated in a Choose Your Fighter video. It got some criticism online.
All the way whack. Just pitiful. Pitifully corny.
Including Democratic Senator John Fetterman called it bizarre and reportedly mocked it in the Senate hallway. I will say that your punching look better than some of your colleagues. Fetterman has been criticizing your party for undignified antics and a sad cavalcade of cell phones during the president's address to Congress. What's your response to Senator Fetterman?
He's not the one to talk about anything. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't seemingly want to own a suit. I'm not really sure. But I don't show up in...
What does owning a suit have to do with a bad marketing campaign? And Fetterman is probably one of the rare people that's Democrats that is realistic, and he answers the questions honestly as far as being a moderate Democrat. So
anyway, she has all stupid, goofy answers. Nothing new here to see. It's the same old foolishness. But anyway, though. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out with your girl. And hope you all have a great rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.